All right, amateur golf fans, welcome to another deep dive where we break down what's happening in the pro golf world just for you.
This is for the amateur players out there.
Exactly. Think of us as like your secret weapon to sounding like a golf guru at the 19th hole.
That's right.
Without all the technical jargon and stuff.
We try to keep it light here.
Yeah, we've got some really crazy tournament results to talk about and some interesting player profiles. And I think even enough, kind of insider info to make the golf community crew blush a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Those guys are the coolest golf infotainment podcast ever, by the way.
Yeah.
But so yeah, buckle up. We're about to tee off into a world of birdies, bogeys, and you never know, maybe even a quadruple bogey meltdown or two.
It wouldn't be a deep dive without at least one disaster, right?
Exactly. But first, let's talk about some of the shockers from recent tournaments. Remember Bubba Watson?
Of course.
The lefty bomber or the pink driver?
Yeah.
The guy's a legend. But, lately his game's been looking a little rough around the edges, even ending up in that dreaded drop zone in LIV Golf.
Yeah. His struggles were actually quite specific. I mean, his driving and iron play were still strong, but his putting was really holding him back.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was costing him almost a half a stroke per round last year.
Half a stroke per round. That's the difference between a tap-in par and a three-putt bogey.
Absolutely.
Wow. But here's the interesting part. He went to one of the best putters in the LIV Golf League, Peter Wuline, for advice, and switched to a new mallet-style putter. And guess what?
What's that?
It's like he found a magic wand.
A magic wand. Tell me more. I want to hear about this.
Okay, so the mallet-style putter is known for its high MOI moment of inertia.
Right.
Which basically makes it more forgiving on off-center hits. So that means that even if you don't hit the sweet spot perfectly, the putter head is less likely to twist, resulting in a more consistent roll.
So for us amateurs out there who, let's be honest, don't always hit the sweet spot, that kind of putter could be a game changer.
Huge difference. And it's clearly working for Bubba. He's already gaining almost a full stroke on the greens compared to last year. It's like he's traded in his old putter for a time machine.
It really is a good example of how even seasoned pros are constantly looking for ways to refine their technique and how experimenting with new equipment can make a huge difference. You never know that putters sitting on the rack at your local golf shop might be the key to unlocking your putting potential.
That's a great point. Okay, let's jump over to the LPGA where Lydia Ko just crushed it at the HSBC Women's World Championship. This was a big one for her. Her first win at that tournament after 10 tries. Talk about persistence.
And this win had major implications. It vaulted her to second on the LPGA's career money list, putting her within striking distance of Annika Sorenstam's all-time record that's rarefied air.
Lydia Ko is only 27 years old. She's already a legend, but get this, she's not the only one raking in the big bucks. Jeeno Thitikul, at just 22, became the fastest player in LPGA history to earn $10 million. Seriously. How do I get on that tour?
Well, what's fascinating about Jeeno's achievement is that she reached this milestone faster, and with fewer wins than any previous record holder, she's incredibly consistent. And let's be honest, the increased purse sizes in women's golf in recent years have played a role. It's great to see the LPGA getting the recognition and financial support it deserves.
Absolutely. And speaking of consistency, this girl is on fire. She's riding a streak of 9 consecutive top 10 finishes on the LPGA Tour.
9.
It's like she's allergic to finishing outside the top 10.
Well, there are definitely strengths and weaknesses to every player's game. Even with her incredible consistency, Jeeno will face challenges as she progresses in her career. Every course demands a different approach, and adapting to those nuances is what separates the good from the great.
So for those of us weekend warriors out there, the takeaway is practice makes perfect, but knowing your strengths and weaknesses is key to conquering any course.
Now, while we're on the subject of rising stars, we have to talk about Joe Highsmith.
Oh, yeah.
This guy just came out of nowhere to snag his first PGA Tour win at the Cognizant Classic.
This is one of those stories you wouldn't believe if it was in a movie. From barely making the cut to shooting back-to-back 64s, that's the kind of performance that makes you question if those golf video games are actually realistic.
And there's a fun little family connection here, too. His caddy, Joe LaCava IV, is the son of legendary caddy Joe LaCava III, who currently caddies for Patrick Cantlay. Talk about keeping it in the family.
It gets even better. Highsmith and Cantlay were actually paired together for the first 2 rounds of the Arnold Palmer Invitational.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the dinner table conversations in the LaCava household that week?
Oh, I can only imagine.
So, son, how'd you do against the guy I caddy for? Did you teach him any tricks?
That's hilarious. I'm sure there was some playful banter going back and forth. But speaking of the Arnold Palmer Invitational, let's dive into some sleeper picks players who might not be the favorites, but definitely have the potential to shake things up.
Now, this is where things get interesting, because anyone who follows golf knows picking a winner at Bay Hill is about as easy as sinking a putt with your eyes closed.
It's true, Bay Hill is a beast. Will Zalatoris is someone to watch. He's had a bit of a rough patch lately, but he tends to play well at Bay Hill, a top 10 finish in his debut, and a tie for 4th last year. That's a pretty solid track record.
Okay, so he likes the course, but what makes him a potential upset is that his driving his iron play. His short game gives the insider scoop.
Zalatoris excels in approach shots, particularly from long distances, and Bay Hill is known for its long par fours and challenging green complexes, which plays right into his strengths. If his putting game is on point, he could definitely be a contender.
And don't forget about Daniel Berger, the Iron Man of the PGA Tour. This guy's been consistent all season. Always seems to be right there in the mix.
Berger's strength lies in his approach play. He's ranked 6th on the PGA Tour in proximity to the hole from 200 to 225 yards at Bay Hill. That distance comes into play a lot, especially on those long par fours. He's a real threat if he can keep hitting those greens.
So he's like the human equivalent of a laser rangefinder.
Precisely.
Dialed in, accurate, and ready to attack those pins.
Exactly. Now, you're looking for a true underdog story. Keep an eye on Nick Taylor. He's already snagged a win this season and had a great top 10 finish at the Genesis Invitational.
Nick Taylor sounds like a hockey player, but hey, Canadians can surprise you on the golf course too. What's his secret weapon?
His strength is his consistent approach play. He doesn't overpower the course, but he rarely makes big mistakes. He's like a golfer version of that tortoise who wins the race.
Slow and steady wins the FedEx Cup, right? I like it.
Speaking of underdogs, we can't forget Sahith Theegala. He's got a knack for playing well at Bay Hill. 2 top 15 finishes in his past 2 appearances. That's not a coincidence.
Bay Hill must be his happy place.
Yeah.
What is it about this course that seems to bring out the best in him?
Well, Bay Hill requires a combination of power and finesse. Theegala's got both. He's not afraid to take risks, but he also has a great touch around the greens, and those undulating greens at Bay Hill can be tricky.
So he's got the power to tame the beast and the touch of an artist to navigate those greens. It sounds like a dangerous combination.
And for a true long shot pick, how about Max McGreevy? He's fresh off a top 25 finish in Mexico, and some analysts are saying he's the best fit for Bay Hill, even ahead of Scottie Scheffler.
Whoa, hold on. Better course fit than Scottie Scheffler? That's a bold statement. What makes him think that?
McGreevy's got a very controlled strategic game. He's not trying to overpower the course. He's thinking his way around it. And at Bay Hill, with all its hazards and tricky angles, that can be a real advantage.
So he's the chess player of the golf world, always thinking 3 moves ahead.
Exactly. And it's a fascinating contrast to the power game that dominates so much of professional golf today.
Okay, now for a story that's going to make all you weekend warriors feel a little bit better about your own game, remember that wild 3rd round at the Cognizant Classic. It seemed like the 15th hole, that par 3 over water, was cursed.
Cursed might be an understatement. Taylor Montgomery, who is leading by 1 shot going into that hole, ended up with a quadruple bogey, 2 balls in the water.
Yeah. Oh, man. I can feel the pain just thinking about it. I've definitely been there. The dreaded water hazard. You just want to throw your whole bag in after the ball, right?
It wasn't just Montgomery. Jesper Svensson, who was also in contention, made a triple bogey on that same hole after his bunker shot took a swim.
Wow, that's brutal. That 15th hole was playing defense like a hungry alligator. But hey, at least it makes for some exciting golf.
It certainly does, and in the end it was Jake Knapp who managed to avoid any major disasters on the 15th and played steady golf down the stretch to claim the victory. Remember, he's the guy who opened the tournament with a mind-blowing round of 59.
59, that's like shooting a perfect game in bowling. I bet even the announcers were running out of superlatives to describe that round.
It was a truly remarkable performance. He showed both incredible skill and mental toughness to stay focused after such a strong start.
Speaking of strong starts, did you catch the action at the Investec South African Open Championship?
Oh, yeah. It was a nail-biter South African Dylan Naidoo battling it out with Englishman Laurie Cantor in a playoff.
Talk about pressure playing in your home country with the crowd going wild, and your opponent is a LIV Golf guy who's qualified for the PGA Tour's Players' Championship.
It's quite a historic moment. It's the first time a LIV golfer will be teeing it up in a regular PGA Tour event since the whole, well, the golf world drama.
Yeah, the golf world definitely has had its share of drama lately. But Let's focus on the positive. It's great to see a young player like Dylan Naidu step up and win in front of his home crowd. That's what sports are all about, right?
Absolutely. Those moments of triumph, of overcoming adversity, that's what inspires us. And speaking of inspiration, let's not forget about Christian Maas, South African amateur, who finished just 2 shots behind the leaders.
2 shots behind the leaders as an amateur, that's incredible.
It's always inspiring to see young talent like that challenging the established pros. It shows the future of golf is bright.
All right, let's hop across the pond to the TGL, where the Atlanta Drive team just finished their regular season with a dominant win over the Jupiter Links Golf Club.
It was a fun and exciting match, with Atlanta cruising to a 9-1 win thanks to some impressive play from Billy Horschel, Lucas Glover, and newcomer Nick Dunlap, who joined the team on a 1-match contract.
Nick Dunlap, wait, isn't he the 2023 U.S. Amateur Champ? The first amateur to win on the PGA Tour since 1991? I thought he was still an amateur.
He is. That's what makes his performance even more impressive. He's stepping into the pro world and holding his own against some of the best players in the game.
That's some serious talent. And I heard there was a hilarious moment during the match where Horschel jokingly FaceTimed teammate Justin Thomas to tell him that Dunlap had replaced him on the team.
Oh, man. It's all in good fun, of course, but it shows the camaraderie and lighthearted spirit of the TGL.
Yeah.
They're serious about the competition, but they also know how to have a good time.
I love that it's like a mix of intense competition and a buddy comedy all rolled into one.
And even though the Jupiter Links team missed the playoffs, they still managed to entertain the crowd with their trademark antics.
Oh, I bet those guys are always good for a laugh.
Kevin Kisner had everyone in stitches with his premature wedge flip celebration after a near miss on the 8th hole. And there was Tiger Woods, who drove the green from 260 yards out in the rough on the par 5 4th hole.
Classic Tiger, always finding a way to defy the odds. It's like he can bend the laws of physics with a golf club.
But the highlight of the night might have been when Celine Dion surprised the crowd with a rendition of My Heart Will Go On.
Wait, what? Celine Dion at a golf event? That's a crossover I never saw coming.
It was a truly unforgettable moment. It just goes to show how the TGL is bringing together sports and entertainment in a way that's never been done before. They're pushing boundaries and creating a unique experience for fans.
It sounds like they're rewriting the playbook on what a golf event can be. It's not just about the competition. It's about creating a spectacle, a show that keeps fans coming back for more.
And that's what's so exciting about the TGL. They're not afraid to experiment, to try new things, and to create a buzz around golf.
Okay, so the TGL regular season is over. And now we're on to the playoffs, where the real action begins. Who are you picking to win it all?
Well, it's a tough call. All 4 teams have the potential to win, but I'm leaning towards the Atlanta Drive. They've been the most consistent team throughout the season, and they have a great mix of experience and young talent.
Plus, they've got Celine Dion on their side. You can't beat that, but seriously, it's going to be an exciting finish to the season. I can't wait to see how it all plays out.
Now, before we dive into more predictions, let's talk about some of the stories that showcase the global reach of golf. It's not just an American sport anymore.
It's a worldwide phenomenon.
Exactly. And one player who's making a big splash on the global stage is Ludvig Åberg from Sweden. He's currently leading the FedExCup standings, and he's only been a professional golfer for a short time.
Leading the FedExCup standings, that's impressive.
He turned pro in June 2023, made a name for himself on the DP World Tour, and then earned his PGA Tour card. Now he's at the top of the FedExCup standings. It's a meteoric rise.
Talk about a fast track to success. He's like the golfing equivalent of a rocket ship. What's the secret to his success?
He's got an incredibly well-rounded game, long off the tee, accurate with his irons, and a great putter. He's the complete package.
So he's basically a golfing unicorn, rare and magical.
You could say that. And on the other side of the world, we have the Blue Bay LPGA tournament taking place in China next week. It's a big deal for the LPGA Tour, marking its return to China after a 4-year hiatus due to the pandemic.
It's great to see the LPGA expanding its global reach, and it's going to be a tough competition with a stacked field, including Jeeno Thitikul. She'll be looking to continue her hot streak.
But let's not forget about Bailey Tardy, who's defending her title after winning the tournament in 2024. She's had a bit of a slow start to the 2025 season, but don't count her out.
The Blue Bay LPGA has a history of producing surprising winners, so anything is possible. Maybe Tardy will find her groove and pull off another victory.
Like, speaking of surprises, remember that drama at the Cognizant Classic's 15th hole?
Oh, yeah.
Turns out that hole has a history of causing trouble for even the best players in the world.
Oh, yeah. That 15th hole is a real heartbreaker. A par 3 over water that requires precision and nerves of steel. One little mistake, and you're watching your ball sink to the bottom of the pond.
It's a classic risk-reward hole.
Yeah.
You can go for the pin and try to make a birdie, But if you miss, the consequences can be severe, as we saw with Taylor Montgomery and Jesper Svensson. Even a slight miscalculation can lead to disaster.
So how did Jake Knapp, the eventual winner, handle that treacherous hole? Did he play it safe or did he go for broke?
Surprisingly, Knapp took an aggressive approach. He went for the pin. Despite the risk, he hit a great shot that landed just short of the green, leaving him with a relatively easy chip for birdie.
So he basically stared down the monster and came out on top.
Exactly. In golf, as in life, sometimes you have to take calculated risks to achieve your goals, and Knapp's performance on that hole is a perfect example of that philosophy.
Okay, let's swing back over to the LIV Golf League, where Bubba Watson's comeback story is still unfolding. He's been open about his struggles with putting and his efforts to improve his game.
And it looks like his hard work is paying off. He's been gaining strokes on the greens this season, and his overall game is more consistent. It's still early, but the Range Goats GC captain could be a factor in the individual standings.
It's great to see Bubba regaining his form. He's always been such a fun player to watch, and the LIV Golf League is definitely adding some excitement to the golf world. They've got a unique format, a team element, and they're attracting top talent.
The addition of players like Brooks Koepka and Bryson DeChambeau has definitely increased the competition.
It's like they're creating their own little all-star team over there. And speaking of teams, there's been a lot of talk about Ben Campbell joining the Range Goats GC. He won the Hong Kong Open in 2023, so he brings a wealth of experience and local knowledge to the team.
That local knowledge could be a big advantage at the upcoming LIV Golf Hong Kong tournament. The course at Hong Kong Golf Club is known for its tricky layout and challenging conditions.
So Campbell is like the Range Goats' secret weapon. Their guide through the treacherous jungle of Hong Kong Golf Club.
You could say that.
And let's not forget about Abraham Ancer, who's defending his title at LIV Golf Hong Kong. He won in a playoff against Cameron Smith and Paul Casey last year.
Ancer's been playing well this season, and his confidence will be high after his recent tie for second finish in Adelaide. He's definitely one to watch.
But Cameron Smith will be looking for revenge after last year's near miss. He's always a threat, and his aggressive style of play should make for some exciting moments.
It's going to be a battle of titans.
So let's break down this Hong Kong Golf Club. What are the key features that players need to be aware of?
Well, it's a deceptively difficult course. It's relatively short, but water comes into play on nearly half the holes, and those narrow fairways lined with trees demand accuracy off the tee.
So it's not a bomber's paradise.
Not exactly. Players who can keep their ball in play and hit their approach shots close will have a big advantage.
So it's a course that rewards precision over power, a thinking person's golf course.
It's a chess match, not a slugfest.
Okay, so we've talked about the favorites, but any sleeper picks for LIV Golf Hong Kong?
Well, one player comes to mind is Richard Bland. He's been playing some solid golf lately and has a history of performing well on shorter courses that require accuracy off the tee. He finished tied for 8th in last year's tournament and could be a dark horse this year.
Richard Bland, like it, a veteran player with a steady game. He could be a real threat if he gets hot with the putter.
And another player who might surprise people is Henrik Stenson. He's known for his accuracy off the tee and has been one of the most consistent performers in the LIV Golf League this season. He finished tied for 8th in Hong Kong last year and could be in the mix again this year.
Stenson, huh? Haven't heard his name in the headlines lately. Maybe this is his chance to make a statement.
Speaking of statements, we can't forget about Jon Rahm. He's been in dominant form since joining the LIV Golf League. Top 10 finishes in every tournament he's completed and currently sits second in the individual standings. He'll be the man to beat in Hong Kong.
Jon Rahm is like a force of nature on the golf course. He's got tower accuracy and a killer instinct. It's going to take a Herculean effort to dethrone him.
His leadership has also been crucial to Legion 13's success. They're leading the team standings and are the favorites to win the team championship.
It's like they're a well-oiled machine firing on all cylinders. But hey, this is golf. Anything can happen on any given day. That's what makes it so unpredictable and exciting to watch.
Exactly. That's why we love this game. It's anyone's game until that final putt drops. And that brings us to the end of another deep dive into the world of professional golf. We hope you enjoyed the journey with us and learned a thing or two along the way.
We sure did, and we hope you did too. Folks, remember to keep your head down, your eye on the ball, and your swing smooth.
And most importantly, stay on the fairway.
Don't forget to subscribe to The Deep Dive. Leave your comments and questions below, and ring that bell to be notified of our next episode. Until then, happy golfing.